We no longer have a police force. We have a police service, and that's where our problems begin. The nominee, as they are coming in, subject to this House's approval, must understand that they'll be running a police service and not a police force. Mr. Chairman, I want to support this because this nominee will be the 16th Inspector General, actually the 6th Inspector General since 2012, but if you start from 1964, they would be the 16th because there were 10 before that. Mr. Chairman, I have looked keenly at the CV of the nominee. And this nominee is being nominated as the Inspector General at a very difficult time when the police service is under a microscope. It's under microscope for various reasons. First of all, Mr. Speaker, for impunity. It is a time that the acting Inspector General is demonstrating absolute impunity against the court. It is at a time the Inspector General, the acting Inspector General, is demonstrating impunity by withdrawing bodyguards of a judge because of orders that they perceive to be adverse. That is absolute impunity. Mr. Chairman, it is also at a time when there are unexplained disappearances and abductions. Just this morning, the chairman was made to commit to make a statement tomorrow. There are so many instances of unexplained disappearances and abductions. Mr. Chairman, it is also coming at a time when there have been questions of the police handling of lawful...
Order, Otiende Omollo. I'm now the Speaker, not Chairman. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know you are my chairman in other areas, so... But for these purposes, Mr. Speaker, it is also coming at a time when there have been questions of the police handling of lawful demonstrations and picketing in terms of use of excessive force. But Mr. Speaker, I have examined the report of the committee and looked at the CV of the nominee, and I would say I'm impressed. I'm impressed first, Mr. Speaker, because from all the reports, this nominee is without blemish in his 39 years of service. That is not easy for a policeman. That is not easy for a person who has even been a deputy inspector general and a commandant of the GSU. That is rare. Mr. Speaker, I'm also impressed because this is a person who you'd say has risen from humble beginnings in the service, from the lowest possible level as a constable to come up to this high level. It is not easy. We are used to getting CVs of people who have come at a very high level. Mr. Speaker, I am also impressed because this nominee has shown resilience. If you look at the CV, this nominee is not a genius. But you are not required to be a genius to be the Inspector General. All you are required to do is to have a degree. This is a man who has gone through what we'd call elimu ya ngumbaru. He's a man who has educated himself from the lowest level. I see that he only got a diploma in 2009, got his degree in 2014. You know, this is a self-made man. He is resilient, and that is actually a good sign. And Mr. Speaker, I have also carefully looked at the report. There has not been any demonstration of impunity. And for me, that is critical. We need an Inspector General that understands that you must operate within the law. You know, Mr. Speaker, some things must be said. As the Inspector General of the police, you must have the humility that Nelson Mandela had when he was president. When Nelson Mandela was confronted with a court order that was adverse to government and he was urged to defy it, he said that I do not agree with the courts, but in the interest of this country, I will comply with those court orders. That is what an Inspector General must do, because as the foremost enforcer of the law, you must be seen to respect the law. If you don't, then those to whom you enforce the law will not respect the law. And I fault the acting Inspector General right now for showing impunity. When the courts require you to appear, all you need is appear. You don't need to defy and then issue a press conference explaining the functional and operational independence of the police service. There is no independence from the authority of the court. There is no independence from the authority of parliament. Your independence is within what is defined. When you are summoned by parliament, you must come. When you are summoned by the court, you must come. That kind of impunity is unacceptable. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the acting Inspector General should know that he's walking on thin ice. First of all, strictly speaking, there is no provision to appoint an acting Inspector General. And I dare the committee to consider this matter. Section 16 of the National Police Service Act allows the President to appoint an acting Inspector General in the event of temporary absence of the Inspector General, which means there must be an Inspector General who is absent. Where there is no Inspector General, you cannot appoint someone acting. So when you have been, by the generosity of happenstance, appointed an acting Inspector General, you cannot then demonstrate such absolute impunity. You should be humble, because that happenstance can be withdrawn anytime. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this appointment. I want to urge that as Mr. Kanja comes in as the IG, let him demonstrate why we changed the police from a force to a service. Let him demonstrate the ability and confidence on what President Ruto promised, that there will be no unexplained disappearances. Let us have an era where we do not have that kind of thing. Let us have an era where everybody respects the law, everybody is below the law, and everyone then is held accountable. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Leader.
Give me the mic. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this report and also to support the appointment of one Douglas Kanja Keroche as the Inspector General of the Police. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say this at the beginning. This country and the Constitution transformed the police from a force to a service. Douglas Kanja is a man who can provide service in the police force, in the police service. He's not that person that will turn it from service to force. We have a candidate, Honorable Speaker, that is a humble man, a man who respects both the mighty and the lowly. He is a man that is destined to ensure that human rights in this country are respected. I know Douglas Kanja. I worked with him when he was the county commander in Kilifi. He was the boss of the county, but he worked with even the lowest of people. And today, if Kanja steps in Kilifi, everybody respects him. Everybody says this is a man that lived his time here well. I am sure even when he takes the seat at Vigilance House, people will be happy that we have that kind of an Inspector General. He has his job cut for him. And I think he's the best